Star. Let's go. All right. Second breakfast is a deep dive. Hello, Adam.
How you doing?
This is my co-caster Adam here. Hello. I am Brian. Let's go. They're already going. Draft is going to start real soon. These two teams don't really have that much of a storied history. I don't know how many times we've seen Second Breakfast play Deep Dive, but I think they're two of the favorites to win this season. And Second Breakfast opens with the Maokai ban. Um, I think this is the jungler's wet dream matchup, and Adam, as a jungler, and as a higher tier jungler in general, these are a couple of your higher tier associates. How do you feel about this matchup, like when it pertains to teams, but also when it pertains to the jungle? Because I think Misa, for a long time, has been considered one of the best junglers in BTL, and Mina has really recently joined that echelon, but she's been looking clean as she's led her team to a 5-0 start.
Yeah, she's been really strong. I mean, I felt like she stomped me in the jungle in our matchup, and yeah, I mean, Misa is hard to beat. He's like a very consistent player throughout the years. So I've been looking forward to this matchup. I think it's a really good one.
Nice, nice. And the bans are already done. Maokai, Ash, Victor from SB against Deep Dive, and Deep Dive taking away Annie, Heimerdinger, and Zaya. A bunch of bot lane oriented picks. Annie could be a flex, but we did see Solo Q whip it out already in BTL, and not going to be his second time here in this matchup against SB. What do you think the first pick is? It's going to be
I wasn't
Rumble.
expecting Rumble. I was thinking an
Whoa.
Amumu might happen from Deep Dive early because I think they do flex that between jungle and support. And I think they've played it to success in both roles this season, right?
Right, right. Well, Rumble, though, is going to be the first pick. That's pretty interesting. Enderism is probably going to take in the top side, but it's a denial pick for the most part against Tate,
Yeah.
who played it in mid in the last Deep Dive game. However, Tate still has Swain up as one of his preferred picks, so I wonder if Deep Dive will just take it.
Yeah, I mean, it already does make the Amumu hard, right? Which they're taking, but now you have to die when you dive. You have to say, okay, I'm going to be rumble alted right when I dive.
Right, and Clairvoyant Adam predicted the Amumu pick, which comes in alongside the Varus, a staple Fire Knight 19 pick. SB, how are they going to respond? The Mumu, as you said, is a flex pick, so they might not already want to show their jungle, but we'll see if they have a pick developed around this
Yeah,
Rumble. I don't think you
if
randomly blind Rumble most of the time, so we'll
yeah,
see.
Ezreal is good. If they don't pick the Trundle here, I think it gets banned. For the chance that the Amumu goes jungle.
Hmm.
Because if that Amumu goes Jack Show, Trundle's going to have a good time.
I'm thinking they'll probably save their support pick, honestly, and not pick it here. Potentially a
I mean
jungle
that.
pick, but oh nope, they're gonna pick
Oh,
it anyway. The Namaste bot lane into Varus plus. Well, they haven't locked it yet. They're thinking, nope, there it is. All right, Namaste bot lane. Could be insecure Karma mid, who knows? But most likely the support Karma. If you're a deep dive here, do you just pick a support in response, or
I think you pick
leave up
top and
the
keep
the
the flex
mystery?
alive.
Yeah, mystery of
Yeah,
the
pick the
flex.
Rumble matchup. What's a Rumble matchup top? I
I mean,
I don't know what the power picks are
Rumble
here.
top usually just goes like flash ignite and plays super aggressively through the top side. They're not even gonna do that. They're gonna take away the mystery. There's the Kindred jungle into the Rumble comp. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. There's a bunch of
Yeah,
AoE coming in from the SV side, and Kindred plays pretty well into that.
I think Kindred plays really well into Karma Ezreal too because you don't have to overcommit to the Ezreal who can hop away, who can get shielded by the Karma. You just kind of keep laying damage at a range.
Yeah, my fear for this deep dive comp, if it's a Kindred oriented comp, is that Ezreal is going to be unthreatened from range as well, though. So even though Kindred has the invincibility field where everything is nice and happy, Ezreal can kind of just ignore it and spam from range. So if the Ezreal and the Karma have a good day, it could be
Yeah.
pretty difficult for the Kindred to close the gap and really get value out against like all the Rumble slows and the Karma slows, and Ezreal Qs from distance. But the rest of the
If we
comp
see
could
something
still
like a
be good.
Gnar picked up here by Deep Dive, I mean that could be nice, right? You get those nice flank angles on the team fights.
Right, Nar's not a bad pick. Nar does kind of struggle in the Rumble though. When he's mini, Rumble can murder him, and then when he's big, Rumble can avoid a lot of the engages that Nar has,
Okay.
especially with the ignite on Rumble. But it's not an impossible matchup or anything like that. Curious if Deep Dive will just run
Yeah.
it through because they do have a Varian, huge champion, Ocean,
Mhm.
can play whatever he wants.
I think we're going to see a top laner that can get on the back line, something like a Jax or a Camille or a Rumble.
Hmm. Have a bunch of
Again,
mid
though, I
bans.
don't know top matchups.
Rumble top isn't very popular nowadays, so who knows? Could be anything. SB gonna take away a couple of mid picks. Cassin Oriana off the board. Deep dive responds here with. I mean, it's probably a top pick to give their mid laner counter pick, but we'll see. Maybe deep dive thinks Rumble's a flex pick too. I've never seen Savory play it, but oh, it's gonna be the mid pick, the
The
mid Galio.
Galio is, I mean, I don't really, they have a Mumu diving, but it's an Amumu support, I mean, longer cooldowns and
Right.
less health.
Yeah, Galio Kindred combo. But the thing is, I think if SB, like we mentioned before, keep their team at arm's length, I don't know if this
Yeah,
Galio will get a ton of value.
I agree. And I mean, you're not going to pick well,
Well, there's Wukong Alanga.
we'll see. The Wukong's a response.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trundle would have been really good here. Like you mentioned before, he's
Yeah.
actually really nuts into Mumu. Pretty good into Galio too. Prevents this really hard engage.
Viego could be nice too. And obviously, Misa plays great Viego.
Yeah, but Wukong on the other hand, kind of strange. I think Viego might have been really difficult into Kindred. I think Wukong is kind of the same way into Kindred. I don't know how much value you're really gonna get into a Kindred, a Galio, Mumu backside that could really mess with you and prevent you from actually killing anybody.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a Lissandra mid pick.
I mean, what we might be seeing is a Wukong designed to invade the Kindred early and keep her down.
Yeah. If that's the case, Lissandra is such a weird pick here, I think, because I don't know if Lissandra, I mean, I do know, Lissandra struggles to get a lot of prio against Galio early. He can kind of
Hmm.
shove you and ignore you for the most part, and if that's happening, I don't know how much pressure you're going to get out of mid. Wukong might be a pretty difficult pick to prevent the Kindred from getting marks, and it's going to be the Gnar, like you mentioned before. It's not an easy matchup for Gnar, but he can definitely swing it, especially if Rumble dies a couple times early, doesn't get going, then Gnar can actually start winning that matchup and run down the Rumble in side lanes. They
Hmm.
just need to make sure if this Rumble is Ignite Rumble, which is most likely since any Rumble is Ignite Rumble nowadays, um, they just need to be really careful about the Gnar getting run through too. But if they can balance the top side and Avarion can play pretty safe there, I think that could be a pretty good matchup for them. I mean, I think the comp on deep dives side is a little more cohesive. They have the engage, they have stuff on top of the engage, and Kindred can really play out fights while the fights are super chaotic with a Mumu CC and Galio CC and Nard tossing people into walls. SP's comp is pretty interesting because they have like they had a core, I think, of Rumble, Ezreal, Karma, but then I think they might have gone away from it or gotten confused in the second half of the draft because I don't know if Wukong and Lissandra really fit into what their comp had telegraphed that they were going to do.
Hmm. I think they're both maybe a little confused, but I don't know. We might see some huge Galio ults in response to Rumble ults. You get a lot of value out of the magic damage shield from that.
Yeah.
And I guess, I'm no draft comp guru, so I can't be throwing shade. You can. Go ahead. Do more.
I don't have much to say here. We'll have to load in and see how they work because right now, yeah, like I think it's two comps with maybe a bunch of comfort picks, maybe just picks across the board. I think it is a little disjointed, but even so, if you had to pick a comp to favor right now, knee jerk, nameplates off, who do you think is gonna win this game?
I'll give it to deep dive. I'll give it to deep dive right now. Yeah, I mean, I think the Wukong Rumble Lissandra Wombo is nice, but it's gonna really struggle into Kindred and Mumu, Nar Galio,
Right.
Virus. I'll just name them all. Virus. Uh, so we'll see if they get ahead early. And I mean, I suppose there's always the possibility that there's a lane swap that we're not expecting, like a Rumble Jungle Wukong top. But I mean, I doubt it.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
potentially available.
Yeah. I mean, I think Deep Dive tried to build like a team fight Exodia, and I can see it. Mm, nameplates off. It's pretty difficult because those last two picks from SB kind of threw me off. But I think SB's comp is pretty interesting, and in a world where Ezreal gets strong, which is a relatively likely world,
Yeah,
I think SB's comp is actually really difficult to deal with too. Um,
yeah,
I don't think Deep Dive has consistent ways of dealing with an Ezreal Karma that's actually strong.
right. They
Um,
have diving, but they don't have like a true targeted ability dive onto an Ezreal for
right.
lockdown, like a
Yeah.
Vi or a
Right. Right.
Camille or something like
And
that.
a big part of that too is that Ezreal Karma and Varus Amumu, this is really free for Ezreal Karma. They should win this
Mm,
lane and win it hard. And not only should they win it hard and get a ton of push, But I don't think Kindred can swing that lane unless something really bad happens and Kindred magically swings it. And I think the Wukong is actually stronger on the bot side if they play through this. So I think in terms of like pure lane prio, Ezreal Karma should win that lane and should be able to snowball a lead, and they can get on map fast and early and get Galio out of his lane states. Like they want lane state to break. If they can break tower and then get push mid or something or push top, move Galio away from the lane. I think Ezreal Karma can be a core that is pretty unstoppable from deep dive, because deep dive really has to find like an Amumu flank with the Galio on top of it and Gnar coming in at the same time. There's got to be a lot of coordination happening here, or maybe Varus ulti into like this whole combo. But if they can't find that and Ezreal Karma can play well, I don't think they have consistent ways of dealing with this pretty phenomenal backside of Ezreal Karma, the Namaste bot lane really getting value out over fights. So
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like what you're saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that Ezreal is going to get 16 kills and win the Gamba for the few people who voted for the over
there we
on
go.
the shit posting. Is what I'm taking
There
away.
you go. I think if anybody this game in a perfect world would get 16 kills, it'd be the Ezreal. I don't know if anybody has tools to deal with the Ezreal. SB has tools to deal with other threats, even if it might be hard for them to deal with Kindred with her ult running and all the CC going. But I mean, they do have Lissandra, they do have Wukong. They can lock them down and make plays on Deep Dive's backside. So there's a little bit of this, but going into the actual client draft, we're just going to stick on this screen because, who cares about the client draft? You already know it's being clicked. Yeah, I'm really curious to see if they can actually get the Ezreal Karma ahead and on map fast. I think if they can do that, SB can just win the game.
Yeah.
But if they can't do that, or if maybe Ezreal Karma mess up, honestly, that happens a lot in BTL. We are in amateur league. If they mess up and they get caught by a Mumu over a wall or something like that with Galio on top, maybe all the cards are up in the air and Deep Dive's the one that collects them when they land back on the ground.
Yeah.
Your eyes closed.
I will say, I mean, I think we're in for a fun game. I think they're going to have to scrap a lot. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Wukong does early, especially. I think that that'll set the tempo for the game. Either invading the Kindred or getting a good gank bot to blow some flashes and set them up for this lane dominance you're talking about. I think that's my current key to the game.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think that the Kindred Wukong matchup I'm not like super like familiar with, but like if you run into Kindred in the jungle as Wukong, are you happy or sad? Let's say it's an isolated 1v1. Who knows what your 2v2, 3v3 is gonna look like?
Pretty
Is that a
happy
good
unless
thing?
you don't have your dash. If you don't have your dash, you're kind of fucked. But if you have your dash, I think you're pretty happy. Kindred can get a couple dashes off in the fight, but I think that your sticking on power is there.
Mm-hmm.
And Kindred's, pretty squishy early. This is,
Gotcha.
pre Galio 6 though. Once
Yep,
Galio hits 6, it's a bit of a different story.
for sure. Yeah, Lissandra is probably the most questionable pick on this in this entire draft to me, because I don't think Lissandra can ever really get pressure into Galio, ever. It seems weird. I think pre-6, post-6, Galio should be pretty unlocked to do whatever he wants. If I had to pick a character to really matter like in the early game and really swing it one way or another, it's probably the Galio. Galio should be getting full shove. If Galio can get Kindred her marks, Galio can prevent bot plays from happening. I think this game is pretty over. I think Deep Dive, Galio could be the one responsible for putting Deep Dive in the driver's seat early. And if they're in the driver's seat early and Ezreal Karma isn't, I think Deep Dive wins. So
Yeah. What do you like to see here in mid? I mean, I'm just looking at Savory's gameplay right now. I see he played a Sylas game recently. Sylas could have been pretty dangerous here with
yeah,
a Mumu ult and a Galio ult.
I mean
A
Galio's
bit
already
more
shown.
fighting power into the Galio.
Yeah, Galio's already shown. Silas is amazing in a Galio. Silas can stop his push, trade HP fairly into him, ult places with Galio's ult in hand. Silas, I mean, they wouldn't have picked Gnar, or there's a high chance they wouldn't pick Gnar into Silas. And also, there's a Mumu. I mean, a Mumu is a pretty good ult to steal a Silas. I think you're right that Silas is a really good pick here. I would also honestly consider other picks like Annie here. Annie's really strong in this. Oh, wait, no, it was banned. Just kidding. I'm lying then. Don't pick Annie. Can't do that. But yeah, I mean, I think Silas is, of all the picks available on the board, Silas is like pretty good. You just have to play it like on a little bit of a tight wire and make sure you don't fall behind. I think there's a world where you die in a 2v2 skirmish and then you do nothing, and Galio does a lot of things. That feels pretty bad. if they just wanted something to like work with their comp, I mean, they could play the zone control method. Like they could play something as simple as like Victor or Nivea, something that can really shove,
Yeah.
and prevent him from being all over the map. Talia is pretty good here too. There's a lot of things that you can do in Galio that make it hard for him to just take over the game.
Talia would be. Have we seen a Talia game this season?
I don't know, but Talia's kind of cracked into Galio, Kindred, and Gnar, honestly.
Yeah, I mean she's pretty strong right now, I think, in general. But yeah, into those champs, I agree. I mean, I don't know if it's in his champ pool, but
Hmm.
yeah, Talia would have been fun. We'll have to
Yeah.
peer pressure Nikolai into playing a Talia game.
I think Syndra's pretty good here too, honestly, because Syndra can mess with the. They're gonna clump like Gnar, Galio, Amumu. They're gonna clump. Syndra can really
Hmm.
mess with that clump and make life miserable for Kindred even in the invincibility field. If she's like sets up a couple balls, the invincibility field goes down. She stuns them. The timer runs out and then they all die. I'm like, Syndra has a lot of value here and can poke Galio as well. So
Hmm.
I think there are other options on the board. I don't know if Lissandra was the one I would have landed on, but maybe we'll see. I hope Eddie, proves us wrong and can really find the picks that matter on Lissandra. Can really find the moments where you can hop into this clump, press W,
Keep him
press
on a
like
rumble all.
yeah
Yeah.
QW shuffle, like all that stuff. If he can pull off the combos to really make a difference, that could be the thing. And I mean, there is the disruption factor. Wukong Lissandra is a very disruptive 2v2 combo. And I think in a fight, if you're doing that much in the front of the fight and people can't get to your Ezreal Karma, maybe that's all you need. Who cares about your lane? As long as Lissandra can buy time, that's enough for Ezreal Karma. So, all right.
And we still have a minute 20. I think we've dissected this comp as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. I last time I had a Coco here, we talked about the history between like what was it, like THD XO or something? Yeah, Cassadorian, I'm pretty sure. And I was like, yeah, THD has won a bunch of seasons, blah blah. XO hasn't had the greatest time, but this is their come up story, blah blah. And then I think you guys upset them in that game anyway, and won something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember. Which
Yeah.
was a
Oh, I
really
remember. Yeah, we
fun.
did.
Yeah, that was a fun game to cast. But here I'm like SBD fan. Have they ever seen each other in the playoffs? I don't know. Like, do they ever interact with each other? I don't know. So maybe this is the start of a new story because both of these teams, especially if SB wins here, they'll go to 4-2. Deep Dive will be at 5-1. They'll be within touching distance of each other.
Yeah, if
So it should mean a lot.
I think if Deep Dive wins this week and next week, they're locked into first,
Mm-hmm.
because they'll beat sort of the only two teams that could potentially get there. Uh, so this win is setting them up for almost a for sure lock in for first. But that's if SB doesn't have something to say about it, which I think they might.
Yeah, I think they're looking up. They're a team that if we had to pick teams out in BTL that could have a shot, I think SB has a pretty good shot right now. Um, what we mentioned too is Deep Dive has only really played teams except for like week one, that had losing records going into them and after them even too. So they're gonna hit a harder stretch of their schedule in the back half of the season. I think it starts here with SB. So we'll see. Okay,
And we're coming in.
loading into game. Any level one shenanigans you envision here?
I don't think so. Not like particularly strong level one. I mean, I guess I give it to SB if it's anything, but I don't think it's gonna be anything.
JK Lisa audio good. Everybody knows. Let's zoom out a little for the fans.
Are you if I'm at 26, 27, 28, am I okay?
Yeah, same timer. All right. Well, this is gonna be a fan from both teams.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Any weird rune choices or anything here? Press the attack on Ezreal instead of Conquer. It's not weird. It's like normal-ish. It's not bad. I don't know if I would have done it because there's so many melees and stuff like that and Conquer stack really fast.
Ezreal builds I feel like have been changing a lot lately. You know, it's one of those things where you grow old and the times have passed you and they're scary and new.
Yeah. Let's see what else. I'm honestly surprised that two things. Surprised that Savory went electrocute, because I think in this game I don't know if I'm electrocuting anybody to actually one-shot them. I'd probably just go spellbook, honestly. And then I'm a little surprised that Titaniel also went aftershock. I kind of get it, but I think that the DPS is coming over time with Ezreal and Karma, etc., etc. I don't think you need it. I think you get spellbook. So I think both of them should have gone spellbook, honestly. But it's all right. Let's see.
Yeah, the Galio suggesting more of a tanky build might allow, you know, more armor from SB.
Nice electrocute proc in mid. If we keep doing that, then maybe that's the lane power we all needed to see. Oh wait, I need that overlay. Boom, overlay. Enderism taking over level 1. That's what he does. It's not Ignite on Rumble. I'm actually really surprised to see that, because I think you lose a ton of kill power if you don't have Ignite on Rumble. No matter the lane, honestly. Either way, Rumble is going to make Gnar sad early. Nice poke through the creep wave onto Drew. Look at Rumble.
Both junglers
making.
Oh, Deidre going in.
Level 2.
Not much happens. Oh, I guess I'll keep Blue Flash.
Honestly,
So, a lot happens.
oh my god, look at the Rumble superiority up there. Honestly, I'm really surprised that Ezreal Karma doesn't have push and didn't get to level 2.
Yeah,
Both
the
junglers are
Wukong.
busted, but I mean, double ranged.
If the Wukong was looking for something real spicy, he would have gone back to his bot lane there. But it is warded out. Would have been a hard gank.
Daniel's trying to trade, but this probably is going to be a little bit favored in the side of Savory since he has shove, and it's going to be shown in the CS differential to start the game.
Wukong also with a much healthier clear right now than Kindred, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this first crab. Kindred opting not to do 5th and 6th camp, just heal up a little, sit mid, go for the gank. Here we come. The taunt goes off. The first blood to the Kindred.
Mina at it again.
Wow, very strong opening play. Wukong going in on the 1v2.
1v2.
Flashes away from the taunt.
This.
Gets flashed on, is slowed from the red buff. Lysandre comes in.
Oh, tries to bail him out, but he's too late.
Oh no.
Oh, but Rumble's here. It could be 2 kills here for Rumble. It's actually going to be big because that's going to be a double buff. Oh, Daniel.
No kill for the Rumble. Nathaniel looking to flash out if he can. He flashes away. That's flash is blown from both side mid jungler
Drew.
and SB top.
Drew tried to. Oh, get the
That
second
Alki
Q.
has no flash.
Here, Amumu has 2 Qs now. Hello? Oh, the heal. No way. He gets away with it.
Never falter.
Oh, he does not get away with it. But he had to
Now
take
we are
the
down
flash
to
out.
one flash on the map. And it's a Varian who goes in for a little bit, goes for a trade, doesn't like it, walks out. Is about to be Mega though.
Ooh, the Mega. He's not going to get anything out of that though. But Savory here might be in trouble again. Flashless Savory. Oh no, not again. Haunted in the... He comes out and he can't complete it.
Nathaniel has been very clean so far at facilitating this Kindred. Just as much as you could possibly want from your mid laner as a Kindred. Had some knockups to protect her in the river fight, and 2 assists here so far in solo kills. You know what I mean.
His lane stay has been really, really easy for the Kindred to gank over and over. And they don't even let Savory take out the E, so he can crawl his way away.
Yeah.
Dude having a really rough go of it in the early game. Not gonna feel very good considering the Kindred and the Galio combo already have 4 kills among them.
Yeah, this Kindred is gonna be such a problem. Now he's going to be putting out huge damage super early. He's gonna have 2 CC bots protecting her. It's tough.
Right, and I think at this point, with the Callus complete on Galio, he'll be untouchable from the Lysandre. He already kind of was. but he'll definitely be untouchable now. And I don't know if they can do anything about him. So the Galio can just accelerate this game pace throughout the map. And the bot lane that should be winning is winning in CS, but they haven't had the greatest lane states either. I mean, I already mentioned it when we zoomed into the bot side, but the fact that a Karma Ezreal didn't have first push and got level 2'd on and then got 2v2'd in that little skirmish there, that's not good. Like,
yeah,
this is your lane that has to win. And the Hex Flash, Drew's looking for more, misses the first Q.
On top of that, Deep Dive is already winning the Vision game. I mean, they have 2 pinks in bot river. They're forcing Lissandra to ward her own Raptors defensively. They're taking up a lot of space very early.
Yeah, and it looks like the only hard winning lane is going to be this Rumble lane, and Wukong is going to play around it, try to get some jungle camps on the other team's jungle on the top side, but also maybe look for something here. But Enderism could be trapped against the wall. Oh wait, that flick, did it miss the wall? Oh, it still hits the wall, but it doesn't do much. And now Enderism cutting back with Barrock. Gonna have to burn Avarion's flash out.
The last flash on the map until Ezreal gets his back.
QDAF here in the vicinity. Drew, 1 Q hit. Solo Q taking a ton of damage. But Drew goes down. It's going to be a trade of supports. But Kindred gets the kill and Karma gets the other kill. So you'd have to, I mean, surely Deep Dive really likes that as Kindred backs and buys a whole ton of items to take this game over with. Alki's struggling here, getting poked a little bit. He does have a decent amount of CS, but this game is starting to spiral out of control. Misa is going to have to figure a way to get them back in, but I don't know. He just doesn't have the tools. Like, Lissandra is going to be shoved 24/7. Asking Misa to revive this game from the Gallows is going to be tough, especially as Galio comes in here. It's going to be a 3-man onto the only winning lane, and Rumble goes down.
And that's
money
Herald.
goes over to Galio. Herald, yeah, like you mentioned, on the top side. That's going to be even more money in their pockets. And at 8 minutes, this game looks like it's starting to spiral.
Yeah. SP bot lane doing what they need to do. They're getting plates. It's not enough to make up for the trade, but it's what they can do.
I said on BTT that Tate is really the unsung hero. Everybody knows Mina's had a crazy season so far. But Tate, he set everything up, his lane states have been really favorable, and Mina's not afraid to just play around him.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's looked
and she's really
great
reaping the
this game.
benefits of this game.
Yeah. Bit of a call out. Fire Knight has not used any wards yet. Did buy a pink. Hasn't used any of his vision wards. I think that's going to cost him the game.
Uh-oh. He's investing in the future. He has that pink for later. Oh, look!
He uses the pink, gets a ward, still hasn't, and now he's like...
Oh my god.
Is that like an opposite caster curse?
Yeah, he's
Caster
shooting.
blessing.
Oh wait, he got him cleared out though. Well, he only got his pink cleared out, not his trinket ward, so I think that's a dub.
And the trinket ward sees the Wukong.
Right. I mean, look, his vision score now matches Ezreal's. Thoughts?
He might be the best vision ADC ever.
Right. Two vision score in 10 minutes. That's crazy. That's like 0.2 vision score a minute. That's definitely worst if that actually stayed true the whole game. But you know, they're tied. That's the important part. In fact, actually, the SP bot lane is 2 ahead of them now.
Oh my gosh, Mina has Mythic. Tate has Mythic.
Yeah. If they force anything now, it's gonna be super doomed. Enderism here getting forced on. Varian gonna ult him into the wall, do some damage, but I would be a little scared now because Enderism is and he can run at you. Oh, Varian, gets the flash out of Enderism.
No jungles around, no jungles near to capitalize on it. Just 2 low health bot laners hanging out.
Oh, nice ult from Savory, actually. That might save his life. That saved his life. Oh, it did not. I don't think he should have flashed no man's land there. I think he had to play it out under tower. But doesn't matter too much. QDAF now 4-1. Just another Monday at the office for her. This is reminiscent of every single deep dive game so far. And I don't think SB has found the formula and will find it anytime soon, as they're facing down the barrel of a 3.4k gold deficit at 11:30. Oh, misses the Varus arrow, but it doesn't matter because he's alive. The TP does come in to bail him out though. It's going to be a Varian and Nathaniel here. Double TP bot side. Rumble's going to get a lot of value here if Varog doesn't die and give them free value back. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty good for SB.
Yeah, no one's running top to cover.
Yeah, he's going to get free push there, collect a lot of CS, cost to Daniel, or I guess Avarion, a lot of CS. Going to get a plate too. I mean, it
Dragon
is
is up.
Deep dive.
They take the Dragon. They were probably going to take it anyway, though.
Right. If you're SB, you're happy. This is a start. If a comeback's gonna happen, it's gonna come off of these incremental victories you can have, and them burning double TP to defend a dive that wasn't gonna happen, that counts.
Yeah.
Enderism though getting really aggressive and trying to proxy a wave. I think he may pay the price for this. Actually, probably not. He'll probably just run away. But Avarion coming up there. I mean, that is a pretty large CS lead that he just built for himself. Enderism proxies the wave, makes Avarion play under tower to pick it up.
Oh wow, you can't walk in there.
Skirmishing continues here. Oh, the flash boomerang misses.
The dive bot. But there's a Wukong there who's very hard to dive into. And he gets the shutdown onto the Kindred.
That's nice. And
he doesn't have his flash to follow.
Fire Knight has ult, so they're probably not going to go any further than that.
That's the start. I mean, like you were saying, incremental victories. I mean, that's a huge increment, though. That's 600 gold onto a Wukong who is not quite caught up in gold, but feeling a lot better now.
Yep.
Plating will fall
in a way, I think it's really unfortunate that kill went over to Wukong. Man, if it had only gone over to Ezreal, because Wukong, how much value is he really going to get against Mega Gnar, Kindred, and Galio, and Amumu?
Yeah.
Ezreal could have used it so much better. It's unfortunate. I mean, they didn't have the choice. But man, if you could go there and pick the incremental amounts of damage to be the last little pick, you really wished it was Ezreal's damage that came in. Are we allowed to talk about how a game going concurrently to this one is going while this game is running? Because, like, you know, GBXO, I have no idea what's going on. Are we allowed to talk about it? Like, if I could PC, I'd be like, oh my god. Is that spoilers? Do people get mad about it?
I think that's spoilers. I was going to watch it later, or tomorrow, or next week.
Well, let's just assume, what is your favorite outcome there? You gotta pick.
It's GB versus EXO. Okay, I'm gonna guess that GB first picked the Aurelion Soul, and the Aurelion Soul is like 20-0-0 right now.
Alright. We're gonna speak it into existence, because I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. I mean, no one can tell me otherwise, right? I mean,
it'd be impossible.
The gold lead is stabilized. I mean, it's been like this for a bit now, about 3k, so at least it's not expanding. Good for SB.
Yeah, I mean, you know, objectives...
Oh, don't tell me. Oh, no. Savory. Oh. Self-ult, but probably...
Yeah, Mina has the ult. Oh, and he's not able to... He's a pixel away from getting into the Kindred ult.
Enderism, though. Now with Kindred ult gone, they fancy a fight.
This might be a Wukong cleanup here, actually.
Oh, Enderism flashing after to Daniel.
Getting it's a flash cleanup.
Enderism gonna die for it. Oh, no. Barrick takes a ton of tower damage, but he's not dead. And it's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade there. The Rumble for the Galio after the Lissandra had already gone down, so. Gold-wise though,
Consider
it's
gold onto the
basically
Rumble.
same.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Mario getting a tower here, freestanding gold. In his pocket now.
Yeah, the gold lead might have stabilized, but it is a pretty big objective lead for Deep Dive. They still have the second Herald. They're up 2 drags to 0. Next drag coming up in a minute. Going to be very hard to fight it, but they might feel like they have to. We'll see. Well, Rumble's going top. No TP.
Yeah, that's a misallocation probably because Lissandra does have TP. Probably should have been the one to take the wave, but Rumble is just going to keep pushing on this wave. If he does that, it feels like they're just going to sack this dragon.
Yeah.
It makes sense. They don't have that much vision around it. It's going to be hard to play around it, but I also feel
if
like
they do that,
real
we should want to see this Wukong walking top. He might get seen out by this vision. He doesn't yet. But, you know, I mean, if they're not going to send him drag, they got to go for that top bounty. Or they can just do what I often do and just stand around the back of pit and hang out for a little bit.
Yeah, pray.
Yeah.
See the angle and go in for the smite steal, miss the smite steal and lose.
So easy when you're up here spectating on your ivory
Here they are,
gaming console. I don't know.
Marion's Mega is running out actually as his TP comes up or is up. So actually this is kind of favored for SB now. I mean I don't know about favored, but Marion's on side lane and if he TP's in he won't have Mega. So SB is actually gonna take this opportunity to try to
They're starting it up, but they're starting it up into an Amumu Galio
that move
with a Nar TPing.
look how clumped they are. I think if the move can flash, if he does.
Oh, but it
He
is
actually just melts.
the Amumu all snow? The Amumu just okay there.
We're just gonna flash back now. It's really
That's
late,
that's
though.
trust in your Nar.
Yeah.
Well, they're cleaning up though on all sides of the fight.
Yeah, they're
Or,
slapping
sorry,
him with
trust on
the
your
wallet.
Galio. Yeah.
I thought the Amumu,
Yeah.
when they were clump taking that dragon, I thought he was just gonna flash in, press on, like 4 of them have Galio coming down.
Same.
Saw
I
the
mean,
angle.
I think you're right about it being a bit of a wallet difference in that fight, but they knew they had the wallet, so they have the ability to play for that.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed. Red team
Mid tower
has
goes
slain
down
the dragon.
on the SP side too. And Kidrid's gonna go for the mark. Not gonna get stopped. Oh! TP behind her. They're gonna try to look for the Kindred with the Lissandra.
Kindred still has all, flashes away, doesn't queue over the wall yet, now does.
Oh, awkward. Oh, what is this? Nathaniel trying to clean up. Drew over here. It's a 3-pronged fight right now, but nothing happened. No objectives to play for.
Going back to the gold lead, it has gone up to 5k, so it is no longer stable. A couple towers went down. SB sort of, or Deep Dive sort of cleaned out SB's jungle. Got a couple kills.
Yep, this game is starting to look like totally out of reach because the items are flying in. Kindred, if you compare Kindred to Wukong items, ooh, if you don't want to see that, Wits End Kraken completed already.
Woof.
We've got Jonias and Rod of Ages on the Galio.
Oh my gosh, it's so much MR on the Kindred.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty impossible for this combo to take her down. And Ezreal's not strong enough to really do the job just yet, nor is the Wukong, honestly.
And that's going to be a dead Rumble, maybe?
Really dead.
Let's see, the target, or the mark count is at 5. Which, I mean, you might expect it to be higher given how ahead they are, but it's got a lot of gold, and gold trumps marks. And 5 is still pretty good.
You know, I thought about this at the start of the game when I mentioned I think both mid laners probably should have taken Unsealed Spellbook, which I still think probably they should have, but no, obviously it doesn't matter now. Is that like the least seen keystone in BTL? Like, not very many people run a field, do they?
I don't even know about BTL. I saw it once in a game this week, and I was like, oh, unsealed spellbook. That's right. That exists.
I run it a lot on like a lot of roamers and stuff. Oh god.
D-Drew survives the Baron. Deep
Like, I run it a
dive.
lot on like Twisted Fate.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've seen any in any of the BTL games I've watched this season.
Are you telling me you're not running like unsealed spellbook Jinzhao in the jungle?
I think I tried it once when it came out. Never again.
Can't help but feel like the end is nigh in 1 minute and 16 seconds as this dragon spawns. It's gonna be Infernal Soul on the board.
Deep dive. It's blessed with a real dragon soul. Not something that I could relate to. Here comes a counterplay though.
Wow, look at the damage they took from the Galio and the snares, but Fire Knight goes down.
They get one kill. Now the back end is being attacked by Galio and Mumunar. Kindred.
Back with a
It's a sweep, and that's going to be an inhib.
That game, if they kill them, if they kill Barrock, that could be game.
Well, QDAF relying on that ult, gets the kill. Is still going to take the target. Okay, gets out.
I mean, this could just be game.
Could be. They got 10 seconds. They don't have a big wave.
Yeah.
They're going to back out to the soul.
They'll play it slow and steady, grab the soul.
Yeah, I don't think that they feel like there's any risk to that. Kindred, I think, getting her 7th mark here. Yep, at 7. As if she wasn't big enough already. Man, this mid jungle duo from Deep Dive just looking so good this game and this season.
Yeah, I think honestly, as we kind of take a retrospective over this game, I kind of feel like I was gonna mention solo queue, but maybe this is why I was gonna mention solo queue. Oh, nice Bear's hole.
Oh no,
Hey,
I got
that's a kill on Galio. Honestly, could have been worse. Did you disconnect or something, Adam?
No, I'm good.
As a retrospective on this game, I think Karma in the hands of someone like Solo Q, I think that's a waste. To be totally honest with you, as we look at the rest of this game, he's a playmaker, and I feel like it's sometimes the syndrome we see with like Elena playing Karma, where they're good players playing a champion that they're actually pretty good at. But I don't know.
But they need to be carrying the game because they're where the power budget is for the team.
Right. I don't know if you can do that very easily from Karma, honestly. I think you're putting your eggs in baskets of other players that need to carry. But sometimes you just need a more direct approach. And so, like, those kind of players playing Karma and other supportive mids, like, or not mids, supports. I think that, yeah, it's a little bit of a waste because I don't know, maybe if they had taken away the Amumu themselves or something, Solo Q is shown to be really good on the Amumu, game breaking even when he finds the engages. I don't know, maybe the complexion of this game would have been a little different. And the bot lane especially, right? Like the lane didn't go super hot at the start of the game. They had a 2v2 that was botched. Maybe it looks a little different when Solo Q's on like a true playmaker.
Yeah. The top lane matchup, which was so hyped for this game, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's sort of the symptom of top lane, ended up being kind of irrelevant. Both players played very well. They both got ahead in kills, but the game was sort of over before they were there.
Yeah, I think the mid jungle was pretty much everything that came up.
Yeah.
QDAF gonna finally go down at the cost of some team members, but this isn't looking that. Oh god, the team's great.
SD making a valiant last stand.
Oh,
The Galio doing so much work and walking out. The Galio CC there was insane.
Yeah, it was just CC on CC on CC. Nobody can move at all in the middle of that fight, and even with QDAF down, doesn't really matter. Deep Dive has other team members up. Especially this guy right here, Nathaniel on the Galio. Dominant performance.
They're gonna push to end. And I think they're gonna get it because 3 minutes ago I got booted from the lobby and I wasn't able to continue spectating.
A win in 27 minutes. I mean, this team has won so much, I think we've actually interviewed everybody on their team. But, I mean, MVP, what are you thinking? I think it's Nathaniel, personally.
I gave it to Nathaniel, yeah. I mean, I think he facilitated it. I mean, obviously the jungle was crazy, but, I mean, look at that Galio damage. What?
Yes, sir.
Insane.
Lots of slapping. All right, let's ask for him. You want to bring him in here? We'll give him a quick interview.
So I did confirm we have interviewed everyone once because they cannot stop winning. So here is Nathaniel.
Hello, Nathaniel. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
We'll have a couple random questions for you. I guess one off my brain. They stole Rumble from you. Pick one.
Oh,
Did you take that personally?
No, I was really surprised. We weren't gonna play Rumble this game. We had like a plan going into it, and so when we saw it, it was like very random. I think everybody in the call was like, "Huh?" We all did a little wall, and then it's sort of just we didn't know if it was going jungle or top, so we kind of just picked around the idea that it was either going jungle or top because for sure it's not going mid, and it kind of worked out from there. Once they picked Wukong, we knew it was going top, so we got the Gnar counter pick in.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any questions, Adam?
Oh, sorry, I was typing up standing, which I guess, with this win, you guys are one win away from locking in first place in the standings. Do you think right now there's anyone you're afraid to play in playoffs? You've had clean wins against everyone.
RB and EXO are our last two games of the split. Very scared of these two teams. I'm friends with like some of the members, and they keep saying we're gonna lose, and I weirdly think they're psyching me out. I'm starting to believe it, but I have a lot of good players on my team. Shoutouts to Deep Dive. Everyone's doing great, so I have no worries too much. I'm always nervous going into every game, though.
I guess I'll try to think of more pertinent questions from this game.
Well, the nerves are paying off. So maybe that's the secret sauce. Maybe we all just need to be a little bit more nervous. We could all use a little bit of that in our lives.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you gave their entire team tons of anxiety this game because the mid jungle duo here, Nathaniel and QDAF, you guys kind of just ran over the map. Yeah, I mean, midway through the game, we were like, man, I feel like the side lanes are kind of irrelevant right now. And I think that was the case. I think it was just mid-jungle running through. Did you kind of like loading in when you saw the Wukong-Lissandra matchup? Actually, when you saw Lissandra picked against you, how did you feel about that matchup in general?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've done this matchup already when we played THD. We've done this before. Galio is just really good into Lissandra. I actually got a message Shoutouts Barrel Key, um, who kind of like hit me up and was like, "Hey, yo, um, the reason those ganks look so clean is because he literally messaged me before the game and was like, they're gonna throw an E insta upon gank. Just hold your W for when they start it, so they can't recast it." Yeah, and so every gank was really easy. Mina had really, really good calls. I didn't call any of those ganks. It was just Mina walking up and saying, "Hey, I'm walking in now." And I was like, "Okay, I go." I'm not the brains of the operation. I simply just go where they tell me to. Yeah.
So I
Felt
mean,
great.
like Brian said, this mid jungle duo has been working really well. I thought it was really strong when we played. What do you guys attribute that to? Have you been practicing a lot? Do you feel like it's a natural
No.
connection,
Do you guys see
or is
practice
it
Yeah.
just
together?
We actually have played in total like we played okay, so we played two scrims before the season started against RB and PO. And we lost our very first scrim game against PO and we have not lost a game since, like as a team. Um we like play sometimes like random scrims. Like we played like one game today and then like I think like two games last week. So like but we don't really like it's not like we practice together a lot. More just I think it is just like we kind of all click. We all like are on the same page. And I think that more goes to like me, Zane, Eveson, uh like we'll just like hit the go button and then Mina and Drew will like make really good intelligent calls.
Mhm.
Eveson has some really good like calls on TP flanks too. Yeah.
All right.
Was
Well,
there any point in this game where you guys were worried about your lead going away?
Oh, uh, no. To be honest, it really did not feel like we were in the like. I think I said it in the middle of the game. I was like, "Yo, we don't have to take any fights. We are in the driver's seat. Like it's their job to lose this. Like to like win this game. Like they have to make the play. They have to make the mistake. Like we don't have to do anything. We have to sit back, take every objective because they can't walk into us because we like got such a lead early. There wasn't really a time where we were like, we trolled. We actually watched that last fight back, and it was like the worst fight from all of us. And it was such a bad call, but we were so far ahead that it didn't matter. So, yeah.
Around the dragon?
Yeah, the very last fight.
Yeah.
I solo ulted, it didn't hit anybody. I Zonya's randomly because I thought they were going to burst me, and they didn't use anything. It was, yeah. I
Well,
think for me
we were
specifically, it
talking
was
up your
bad.
play in that fight from all the CC. We can
Oh, yeah,
I think we
the
can
CC
edit that
after
in
was good.
post
Yeah,
and call out the Zonias and the Mistalt.
yeah, true. Yeah, it looked bad at first. It turned out to be great. Eveson came in. Eveson actually, like we were talking, you guys mentioned like the side lanes like didn't have as much of an impact, but like Eveson literally went 7-1-4, 16k damage, like a quiet 16k out of
Mhm.
nowhere. Yeah, that guy's crazy.
all right.
Well, I think
Well,
that's all the questions I
yeah.
have, Brian.
Let's see if you can continue this. You have, I mean, it's 6 in a row. We'll see if you can get 7, 8, and 9 next week against AR, starting that little run. But thank you for your time. Thanks to the game. Congrats, and we'll see everybody else next time.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
well
Thank
played.
you. Bye bye.